Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect.
I made it back, Mike. 2 days in a row here. Made two
2 days in
balls.
a row. Notice anything
Yeah.
different?
You're looking younger? Well, I don't know what. I think it's a trap. What are you asking me over there?
Got my hair cut.
Oh yeah. You've had. You know what? I saw a picture of you with Willie Mosconi. I think it was. Oh no. It was. It was.
Minnesota Fabs?
Maybe it was that one, or maybe it was the one with Jerry Bryseth. Uh, and you were like you were a young college student, and you look exactly the same. Like you haven't aged a day, not even one day. You're still looking fresh, Pinozo.
Those were the days. Those were the days.
What are we talking about today, Mike? There's a lot of little. I'm hearing a lot of little birds chirping all around the room.
Not
over
little
here.
birds chirping.
Yeah.
We don't want to give too much away because we don't want to get in trouble. But there's just encouraging signs.
Mike, I started doing this to piss people off, Mike. Actually, that wasn't why I started doing it, but that was
Well,
just a
you talk.
byproduct
You talk out of school. Don't. I'm
Go
pissing
ahead.
people off by letting Pinozo hang himself.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the mover in me, buddy. Yeah, no kidding.
No, listen. Like I said yesterday, we've been waiting for good news and holding our breath for good news regarding the players, and we just, we know that there's been talks. We wrote about it, around Christmas, that there were talks between Matchroom and WPA to try to get stuff squared away, and things seem like things are looking good going forward. There's been some progress. At least they're beyond the. I don't want to talk to them. I don't need to talk to them. They don't want to talk to me. There's, from either side, there's none of that anymore. So that's the most encouraging thing. And so, I've seen little snippets from players here and there who, have gotten some encouraging emails from their national federations about the possibility of playing in events that they didn't think they could play in, just things like that. So there's just, nothing's done, nothing's set in stone, nothing's completed, but
That's where I get a little leery, Pinozo, because it was this time last year whenever we're here, there was a social media post via the WPA's page where all is well, we're sanctioning this, we're sanctioning that, and then the wheels completely just came off the tracks with Matchroom saying we didn't agree to this, we didn't agree to anything, there's no deal in place, blah blah blah. So you think that's why maybe everything's kind of getting buttoned up and sewn up before anything comes out?
Yeah, well, I would think so. I would hope so. I would hope that if they do something, that if they can come to some agreements on anything, that that it's done jointly, and we don't need pictures of them all hugging each other, but would certainly like to see them jointly say we've made progress, or we've got a deal, or whatever the case is. That's what we're looking forward to seeing. So hopefully, the good vibes keep going on, and in the next week or two, there's some clarity to what they've been talking about for these last 3 months.
There's some optimism for sure, but I'm still curious to see, even if things end up the way I think like we feel like they will here in the next few days, how many players are going to continue going back to playing in every event. Maybe there's some like scorned lover.
The main thing we've always
the
main thing that we've always argued for is whether they go to them all or not. It's not the issue. The issue is, do they have the opportunity to go to whatever they want to go to?
Right. Yeah.
As long as they've got that opportunity, then the decision's theirs. So, that's what we've all been pushing for this whole time, is let the players play everywhere. Don't make them make decisions. And, I think we talked a little bit yesterday that I think that they've looked around, they've seen the players. I mean, we've seen the players for the last 3 months, 4 months. They don't, we've heard them on social media. We've talked to them privately. They don't know whether they're coming or going. They don't know which way they should go. They're disappointed. They're disillusioned. Whatever the case is, they just want a little bit of clarity at this point too. And what we don't want is,
just
what
freedom,
it looks
Mike.
like. What's that?
Just freedom, like you mentioned.
Yeah, right. And so what we don't want is what we had on, January 1st, which was, okay, you can't play in here anymore, and you can play here anymore, and if any of you play over here anymore, you can't play there anymore. It wasn't fair, and to the players, and so, it's hopefully we'll have some, clarity, like I said, in the near future, and hopefully it's good. No guarantees on anything. Everything can always blow up, in a heartbeat. But at least there's conversations, and that's more than we had, this time last year or through most of last year. There was the WPA went ahead and quote treated these events as sanctioned, but there was no communication with them. It was them making this decision, and Matchroom saying, do whatever you want. We're going to do it.
We never agreed to that.
Yeah. So, so it was just still a matter of neither side talking to each other. So you can't come to some kind of compromise without conversation. So hopefully that's what they're doing right now.
Any type
Have you heard
of
any players around there talking about anything they're hearing in the grapevine?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the few that I have talked to, they've all kind of echoed that same thing, and off the record, of course. And so I won't mention any names in particular, but I mean, the rumors are starting to get passed around, certainly here in the venue. I mean, these are the players that have been affected, and so whether or not they'll still go play, the other side is what I'm curious to see, because I think that last year, there was a lot of drama, obviously, but another thing that was weighing heavily on players is, is this going to work? And what I mean by that is, can I make a living doing this? And outside of the top, 10, 15 players, Mike, it's tough. It's real tough for a lot of these guys, and to be able to justify it.
It's still going to be tough, even if the whole world's open to everybody. It's still going to be tough right now. But they got a much better chance getting to pick and choose between 30 tournaments than they do having to choose 10 or 15, right? By the same token, a lot of them knew that when you separated the two, there was actually a better chance of making some money on one side or the other, because half the players were somewhere else, right?
Yes.
So there was, it was kind of this like mixed bag of what opportunity meant to them, right? So
I would love to have seen like these candid conversations where some of these guys found out, oh fuck, Filler's back, like from the WPA side of things, you know what I mean? But even still, I mean, you got Dennis number 2, Alex number 1, Maciel playing well, so it's like there's still some depth there. I like seeing the variety of games being played, Mike, and I know 9-ball's like the gold crown for everyone, and always will be, because that's the top of the food chain when it comes to Q Sports. But I'm excited to see these players kind of with some variety and some differences, and not seeing the same cookie cutter template tournaments that we're used to seeing, for the entire year, basically, Mike.
If we can get a year full of tournaments with big money, I don't think the players are going to care whether it's 9-ball, 10-ball, 7-ball, 3-ball, whatever. Just give me the opportunity. I'll go play where I think I can make some money.
Well, we've seen players that have become like specialists in one area versus another, and so that can certainly be the case here. And, they can also build a bankroll in order to go after some of these bigger events, maybe that they're hoping to, snap off as well, Mike, like a U.S. Open, which is having a big prize fund this year.
Right.
The biggest prize fund, in the history of it. So, but those are the type of events that I'm excited to see. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the European's going to be cool, and hopefully, if it ends up the way that we're hearing it will, then it'll be better than anticipated. But it's these marquee events. It's the World Championship I want to see because I want to see, the monsters from round one. You know what I mean? Have to face each other and these premier matchups. What's that?
What are the dates of the World Championship?
I don't know. Why are you asking me? You act like I do research around here, Mike. I leave that to the journalists.
You haven't got the calendar yet?
No. I hear it's coming. There's my man, John Schmidt. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, Mike. Good to see you, John. Yeah. John Schmidt, welcome by. You never know who you're going to run into here at the Rio, Mike. It's been a lot of players.
It's like you're working the red carpet.
John's awesome. I tell you what, if there's one guy that I want to see with a camera crew following him around, it's John Schmidt. He's one of the funniest guys to be around and to hang out with, Mike.
Yeah, he's a piece of work.
On another note, though, Mike, of top players here and legends and world champions, I gotta get something off my chest here, Mike. I was walking around yesterday after we got done with the show, and happened to walk by, and there's Mika walking by, Mike, and it was tough seeing him. I'll be honest with you. He was looking like he's a little worn down these days.
Really?
And I know he's going through a lot, but
he had some recent treatments again. I know he was going through some,
right.
But I'm not surprised that he's there, even though he's gone through that, because he's a warrior, and that's
incredible, Mike.
That's his mentality.
Yeah,
is to go ahead and just spit in his face and keep charging ahead and that type of thing. But you hope that he's doing okay. You hope that he's going to be getting better, as opposed to. I haven't seen him since December, so
right.
I'll see him next week when I get out there. That's sad to hear. Just kind of
he's a fighter. We know that, Mike, and I remember whenever I talked to him, and he was telling me the story about, I think he was in like Japan or something, and he just found out about it, and then he still went out and played his match, and it just like blew my mind, and I'm like, that's crazy to me, that you just get some news and then it ends up that you still want to go out there and compete, and but he lives, he breathes it. He's a pool player through and through, and this is what he loves to do, and it's all inspiring that he's still able to do it at such an elite level, and he's still got that same like fiery spirit, Mike. Like he's here and he's still like annoyed at not getting perfect position, and
right.
If he doesn't, if he comes up a little short, he's got the eye roll and the hands and all these things, but make sure and keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers, and
of course. Is he still in the tournament?
I'm not sure, Mike. I know I saw him. Like I said, whenever we got done yesterday, I went and made a round, and that's whenever I ran into him, and he was in the middle of a match, and gave him hey, and gave him a little hug, and that was I don't know how he ended up, but if he'll be playing in some, I can tell you that, because he's still playing in major events, and he wants to do it. Like, this is what he loves to do. It's so cool, man, there's like, to have that kind of heart and that kind of like spirit and determination and all those things, and it's like, that's real life stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just some like sports cliche, and it's I'll be rooting for Mika for sure. Like,
he's playing this afternoon at 4:30 your time. He's in the losers round 2.
Lots of stuff going on, Mike. Like, the men's event's going to be on the winner's side continuing tomorrow. I know loser side action is going on right now. The junior event started today. I believe the women's is starting today as well. But Mike, yesterday we had a pretty big matchup: Tony Chohan versus Bustamani for 10,000. Did you get a sweat? Any of the
no.
I mean, he's still got it. Clearly, he's still got it. But listen, I hung out in there the first 3 games or so with a friend of mine, and then Savannah. We were sweating the match. And I tell you what, Mike, Tony looked like a T-Rex on ice, because he couldn't get his footing, had no idea where the cue ball was going to go, a whole bunch of slide. The referee never heard of a foul in one pocket, so he didn't know how to spot the balls or anything. It was the funniest thing. And the guy looks like the Undertaker from
They got
Europe.
those EPBF referees again, don't they?
They do, yeah. That dude ain't never refed a
Yeah.
one pocket match in his
Yeah,
life.
put a
Like,
one
ever.
pocket match in front of them, and they're like start to hyperventilate.
It was the funniest thing. Tony took, I think, like an early lead, and then Bustamante just ended up chipping away. Like we talked about how cool it is to have that these different games and these exhibition style matchups. My only, like, I don't want to say concern, but my only, I guess, a concern is, if you dangle free money in front of them, you've been around pool long enough to know, the history of the saver, Mike, and so that's or the chop, as you say, and so that's my only fear, because there was some loose one pocket being played early on in that matchup, Mike. I'll just put it like that,
Yeah. Well, yeah, the loser wasn't going home with zero.
I didn't say that, Mike. I didn't say, but I know where I would bet on for sure. Later on today, Mike, you got SVB versus Filler. I'm gonna have hopefully front row seats to that one, Mike. I might go camp out here in a little bit because that's the one that I really want to see.
That race to 3?
No, 5.
It's a race to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to get a little bit of one pocket. I mean, they're both like 8-and-out specialists. They're both like, you can't leave them a straight back and things like that because they're going to just, hit the center of the pocket. But
how are the tables playing as far as, favoring one player or another?
Well, I think so yesterday's matchup was interesting in the sense of neither one of those guys plays on that type of equipment like ever anymore. Tony doesn't play big TV events. You know what I mean? Like he's not a Matchroom touring player. He's not playing any, and he's not playing TV table matchups. Bustamante is the same thing. It's been years, and so for them more than like the SVB and Filler who play on that regularly, it's gonna be. I'm sure they're gonna be more comfortable. I guess obviously Josh plays on these tables. Shane hasn't played at all on these tables, and I don't even know if he played last year, Mike.
So are they playing looser, tighter, whatever than they would be if these guys were playing on WMP?
Well, I know they snugged them up, but they're still playing pretty. They're still playing pretty big because of the cloth and the balls and all these things, because you still got all that slide. So everything kind of. I don't know. Because like they're both pretty. I would say Shane's probably the favorite, like from just like a pure one pocket standpoint, and Shane, like Josh wants to win, Shane wants the money. So like that's where the yin and the yang kind of come in a little bit, because Josh, it don't matter if you're playing, if you're flipping quarters, Josh wants to win, So
that's two guys I don't see sitting around before the match chopping up money.
No. Those two I don't see at all chopping up the money. Yeah. No, not at all. Because they both like their side and they're still up for the competition of it, and so that's the one that I really want to see. It's been like talked about for so long as far as getting Josh playing in one of these big sets, and I know this is like it's a race to 5, I get it, but it's kind of like a little appetizer for what could be, and so kudos to Predator and the Pearl Beard Series for giving the fans what they want, reaching out to the players, especially given the climate and everything, bringing Shane out here and having him play against Filler. I mean, listen, those are premier matchups. Those are marquee matchups. It doesn't matter what the game is. Banks, one pocket, 10 ball, 9 ball, 8 ball. Fans want to watch him play. I wish we would have had like Federer and Alex maybe in the mix, but I don't want to get too greedy or too far ahead of myself here. But who knows how
it's hats off to them for it's their own event. They couldn't let Shane play.
Right. Yeah.
But they're like, we'll bring Shane out here. People want to see him play. So good on them for coming up with that. And do you think you think Shane gets an advantage at all of Josh being in the middle of a 10-ball tournament?
No, actually, I think it favors Josh more because he's had some experience playing on that table. More often than not, he's going to get a TV table matchup, so he would have had more experience by default. Just playing out there and knowing how the slide is and things like that. Where Shane, hasn't hit a ball, so out there, and so in that regards, I would for sure favor Filler. We'll see how the match ends up. I'm excited to see how offensive it is and how much one pocket it like is going to be played, and so because the moving part of it is where like you can really see their genius and execution shine through, like where they can develop shots or beat the other guy to the shot when they're in a tough position. And so yeah, I'm pumped for it, Mike. It's going to start 4 o'clock local time here in Las Vegas, 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So Friday night special, you know what I mean? Josh Filler versus Shane Van Boening. It doesn't get much better than that, Mike.
That'll be great.
Oh, by the way, Mike, I was thinking about you yesterday, man, because I went out to dinner with Salado guys. And,
I knew it was going to involve either food or drink.
Man, it was. We went to Esther's Kitchen, and I was like, man, that sounds so familiar. There's Nick over there.
When you were heading to the airport.
Yeah. And I was like, man,
Esther's is the nuts. I got a reservation out there for next week.
Man, whenever we ate, Mike, it was so good. The meal was,
Who'd you go with?
Nick Barron from Q&Case in Brunswick, and the Salado guys, Colby and Reed. So it was some great company. Another friend of mine as well. So it was some great company. The food was just amazing, Mike. It was absolutely amazing. And so I was thinking about you for sure, because as soon as we turned the corner and I saw that little like arts district, I was like, I've been here. I knew I've been here before because the name sounded so familiar. So
nice.
Anyway, I can't wait to go out there again with you, maybe after the trade show or maybe whenever you come out here for the end of the CSI. So what else is on deck, Mike? I know we got juniors playing as well. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, what does the junior field look like?
It's cool. It's an invitational style event. I love the fact that Sophia and Savannah are both in it. I think Sophia is on TV table right now against a very strong player in Josh McConney. Kid's playing amazing pulls over the last 2 years. When I first saw him play at Junior National. So Sophia's up in that match. And I like the fact that they're the same way that they recognize what the fans want to see in terms of Josh and Shane. They also recognize the fact of how much of a draw Savannah and Sophia are, because they're the only two ladies who got the invite as far as junior players. And it's well-deserved, in my opinion, Mike.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great day. I mean, I'm sure the juniors love being in the middle of the mix with all these big shots too. Those kids are fun to watch. A lot of Adrian in there, and Joey and Sophia, and
How old is Joey? I thought Joey was already like 19 or something. Ain't he?
I don't know.
We gotta check. We gotta check some IDs around here, Mike. Make sure they're still. Yeah, you know what I mean. Make sure they're still technically a junior. Nico Conkle, Jaws, Spain, D'Angelo
too. So
Yeah, Hayden Payne, Adrian's playing in it. I mean, like, kind of like a PLP style, World Pool Master style, but like shrink down for juniors. You know what I mean? As far as like good quality. And I know the world stage is completely different, but like as far as young American talent, these are some of the best that we got out here playing. Yeah. So it's cool to see them go out there and
I love seeing them get the opportunity to get better and to play in these type of conditions and this type of pressure. It helps them on the big stage too.
Yeah, and I mean, given the fact of how weak the men's open was, a lot of those junior players were also playing in that open event for the men. So it's like they're getting their money's worth when it comes to going to Vegas, Mike.
Give them some table time.
Yeah, for sure. So, Mike, are we betting dinner on SVB and Filler? By the way, I don't know if I brought that up or not.
We may as well. I mean, I don't know where we're at on the count right now, but
I think you won the last one, Mike. I'm pretty sure you won the last one.
I don't remember the dinner though.
Where are we gonna go? Herbs and Rye. Herbs and Rye. You pick. If there's one, listen. If you guys are ever anywhere where Mike is around, make sure and get a dinner recommendation from Panozzo, because he knows where all the spots are. He's never let me down, not one time.
You can take me to the Golden Steer.
Golden Steer. I sounds like some place where they got stripper poles and litter, Mike. What kind of place is that?
Old school Vegas steakhouse.
Is it? Okay, I'm in. You have me at steak, Mike. All right.
So what do you want?
If
you're buying, I'll let you pick.
Okay. All right. Let me think here. Who do I want? I'm gonna take. I'll let you know at the end of the show, Mike. How about that? Let me chew on a little bit, and then I'll give you a response. So, what else do we got here, Mike? What else is on deck for today?
Well, we got all these different events. When does the mixed doubles start?
It's a good question. I don't know, Mike. That one's kind of cool too. You know.
That's great.
Uh,
Really fun.
let me see here. Maybe someone in the chat can let us know.
25th.
Is Vitali in there? I gotta be honest with you, Mike. He ain't been playing the best. I see him on the poster here, and I'm like, the last few months, where you've been used to seeing him play like in semifinals and finals, and he's been taking some early losses in tournaments that have been kind of surprising, Mike.
Yeah, well, he's a great player, great young player.
He is.
To get it, 10 ball, you'd think he'd love this out there because he's such a big breaker.
For sure.
And he's playing in the mixed doubles with Christina.
Is Federer? Yeah, so her and Federer are not playing then if Vitali is. But I tell you what, that's a pretty good partner still. Both of them matching up.
Yeah, Vitali and Christina will be a pretty good team.
I think they got Christina playing Rublin in the women's showdown, Mike, as well, which is like a 10,000 to the winner invitational style one-on-one matchup.
Right. Well, that'll be good. Women Challenger champions.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot going on. One of my only issues for these events, whenever you have so many, I love the variety, like I mentioned before, but it's the fact that like as the event starts to get thicker, you really want to watch those matches. But then you have other events starting, and so those get TV time, and then you have the other event that we're invested in at the beginning, and now it's getting good, but then it's not being played. So like those kind of things are a little.
For some of these players, it's like Derby. He's playing one packet one night, 10 ball the next day, and then he's playing doubles,
relax. It's not like Derby.
It's like
we're still out of here by 8:00, Mike. So the schedule's pretty good in that regard. Where Derby, you may be up for 36 hours and still with matches to be called.
That's true.
But no, if you're a pool fan, I mean, it's like I get up in the morning, right? And like this morning, I got up. It was like 7:00 when I'm leaving the hotel room to go to the gym, and there's already people walking around with cases. They got minis going all night long. I come into the tournament room again at 8:00 in the morning. 9:00 in the morning. And it's already packed. You already hear balls being played. I mean, it's nonstop. It's like 24 hours of just pool every day. Teams are going to be coming in here pretty soon. It's wild, man, but it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
So tell us what players have you seen in the gym?
Well, that's a good question. Usually, I'll tell you a funny story, Mike. One year, it was the year Earl was in Moscone Cup at Bally's. And one morning I get up and there's Laylee and the Europeans. It was like Albin and David and Fran, and they're doing like cardio and stuff. And there was Earl doing his infamous sit-ups.
Sit-ups.
Yeah. But I've heard we've all heard this story at some point or another if you know the Earl legend. And but it wasn't like it was a real sit-up, but like he's just on a bench going up and down. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't it was.
That's how you do 500 a day, Mike.
That's what. Yeah,
That's how you do 500 a day.
Listen, he was killing the cardio. The guy's an athlete, and he'll tell you as much. You know what I mean? He may be the best athlete on earth if you talk to him. But no, this trip not so much, man. But usually you'll see these guys that they really like at the U.S. Open, for example. All the guys who go deep are usually there in the mornings, like getting in their workout. Like they're very regimented and they very much treat it like a sport. And it's not a coincidence that these guys who are taking extra care of their health and their mental health and their physical health and things like that are the reason why that endurance is paying off for them at the end of these tournaments, Mike.
Yeah, well, I think the European players have always been really good about that, and I think for them a lot of it is kind of getting over jet lag faster, getting up early and going, getting a good sweat and getting some cardio in, and they've always kind of used that as a way to kind of muscle through fatigue of jet lag. So they've always been pretty disciplined about that, the Neils and the Jasons and guys like that.
All right, Mike, we're going to pick a couple of winners here, and then we're going to get out of here. So before we pick the winner of Josh and Shane, we'll save that for the end. Give me who you like in the junior event, Mike. Give me like a finals prediction.
I like Payne McBride.
That's a good choice. Payne's been playing pretty solid lately.
I like Lazaro.
Lazaro. That's two pretty good choices, Mike. I'll be honest with you. Are they on the opposite side of the bracket?
You ever shaken Lazaro's hand?
I don't know.
Next time
I'm more of like a dap guy. You know what I mean?
Next time you go up, shake his hand. That guy shakes his hand like a 32-year-old guy who wrestles steer in the afternoon.
He's from Texas, Mike. You know?
Well, I know he's from New Braunfels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, you want to talk about some good food? New Braunfels got some good food.
The boy's got a grip.
He's got a grip. He plays solid. Those are two great picks, Mike. I'm going to go a little bit younger, though, on mine. I'm going the Mav man, Hayden Ernst on one side, and I'm going to go with Adrian Prasad, my man from Sacramento, the two-time finalist of World Champ. I'm going with him in the finals. I don't know who the winner's going to be. That's a little tough, but
those are good picks. Those are good picks, too.
A lot of players are playing really well. Now for the main course here, Mike, SVB and filler. I'm going Josh. I'm going Josh, and he's getting the cash, and he's gonna needle Shane, and Shane may roll his eyes and be over it and be at the craps table by 5:30 or so, Mike.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I'll be watching, and I'll be messaging you.
Howard in the chat says, "Where's Federer and Shaw? Where is Federer, Mike? Because I haven't seen him on any PLP announcements, any European Open."
No, I do not believe that he's going to be playing in Bosnia. And
is that because of politics or?
No. I believe he's actually got some, a few health issues that he's going to take care of.
Okay.
So he's had back and neck, issues over the past year, on and off again. Right. So he may be getting that week or whatever he needs to do.
Well, we wish him well. On the note of the PLP, though, Mike, I got one other thing before we get out of here is kudos to Matchroom for some of these picks, because I like that, seeing the Maritzes and the Pias of the world get opportunities to shine on a stage like that, because it's time for like that changing of the guard, so to speak. But like it's great players that we want to see go out there and compete. I want to see a couple more young Filipino players. I want to see like an AJ Manis kind of player join that as well. Maybe like a Bernie. But it's cool seeing this mix of like SVB and Shaw, and then you got Labutus who can go and snap it off, and then you got Moritz who's got a lot of upside as well. So a couple of Vietnam guys, which I told you would be, Mike. I told you they got to get that market. So
they got two Vietnamese, right? They do.
Yeah, it's going to be solid. So anyhow, we'll do are you going to be free at all this weekend, Mike, or what's your schedule like? Yeah. All right, we'll do another show tomorrow, maybe a follow-up. I'll bring in a guest later on this evening if I get some time. So anyhow, big shout out to all of our sponsors for hanging out with us and for supporting the page. We'll be live. I'll be doing some short-form content throughout the day, so make sure and keep your notifications on, and we'll see all you guys real soon.